Hi, I'm Steve Poltz. I'm a get to be a guest on Padres and Pints, RJ's bro. I've always wanted to be a guest, so I just had to do the lead in.
One, two, three, four.
Hey, this is Rick at Padres and Pints. We got the vendor-in-chief behind the camera.
Good evening.
And our special guest today is the one, the only, Steve Poltz.
How's it going?
Thanks for joining us, Steve.
You're welcome. It's good to be a guest on this fabulous show.
Yeah?
We're at Starlite.
We're at the Starlite, beautiful Starlite, having some drinks.
Yeah.
So, you're not from San Diego originally.
Mm-mm.
You become a San Diegan, but you're not originally from.
I'm not.
So
I moved here.
How come you picked the Padres?
Well, I moved here in 1979, so I've lived here a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long. I'm like 104 years old, so I've lived here since 79, which is not even a third of my life probably, but it's been a long time. I'm aging backwards like Benjamin Buttons, so pretty soon I'll just be crapping in my pants and wearing diapers.
Nice.
But I could do that either way when I get 90 or the other way, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, hey.
But that being said, the way I became a Padres fan is I lived here and I was a Dodgers fan. We moved from Canada to Southern California and I was raised on the Dodgers. Like Vince Scully, when I hear his voice, I become like a kitten where the mom cat gets it by the neck and it becomes so relaxed. When I hear Vince Scully's voice, it makes me feel safe. I grew up on his voice, and my dad to this day is the world's largest Dodgers fan, and he gets so mad at me that I'm a Padres fan. And the way it happened is I slowly got sucked into their vortex in the early 80s because it was really easy, and by the time 84 came around, as you know, and the whole get mad with the Padres thing and all their colors, you know, it was like such a glorious time to be a Padres fan. There was a time when you could bring in, back when I used to drink, you could actually fill up gallon containers as long as they were plastic and bring your own beer in. I mean, what were they thinking? It was Jack Murphy Stadium, and we would bring in our own beer to the stadium.
That's
like,
crazy.
into Jack Murphy, and we would get hammered. And the games were so much fun. And then we would go to the Pennant on Sundays, and it was all Padres fans. And I worked at Round Table Pizza back in like 1980. I got fired from Round Table Pizza, but Raleigh Fingers used to come in and get a large 3-8. I remember the numbers still. Pepperoni and mushroom, 3 and 8. And then I would get drunk and bring beers into the walk-in, and I got fired for singing on the microphone. And the guy called me up and he goes, "Can you come in and pick up your check?" And I was like, I thought I was getting paid early because he liked me. I go, "That's cool, we're getting paid early." And he said, "No, you're fired." And I go, "Why?" He said, "Because we need pizza makers, not entertainers." And my heart swelled with pride because I went, I'm an entertainer. This is awesome. I'm just going to start playing guitar for a living. It was like I was Steve Martin in The Jerk. I didn't even understand really that getting fired was bad.
So you technically have that boss to thank for your successful career then, huh?
Yeah, now he owns Hooley's out in El Cajon.
Oh,
Hooley's.
okay.
So what happened was, I slowly, when you live in this town, it was easy to get sucked into being a Padre fan. I mean, the yellow, the brown, the colors, everything. It was like just a really good time. It was a glamorous time. Those were the salad days of being a Padres fan, I think, you know? And the games were cheap. You would go there. It was at Jack Murphy. And, shoot, man, I wasn't even friends with Tim Flannery yet, but he was playing, and now to be such a good friend of his, it's weird, but I look back on those days and it slowly sucked me into being a Padres fan. And my dad was so mad at me that I switched allegiances. But I'm one of the rare examples of people who actually, if the Padres were out of it, I would root for the Dodgers to do well, which, like, that would make you want to punch me in the face just sitting here. But for me, it's like, well, I want my dad to be happy.
Yeah.
My first team is the Padres. And that being said, I'm also a Giants fan. Like, because I love Tim Flannery and I love Bruce Bochy and I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
So when I go to the games up there, I see them, and it's amazing to be friends with those guys. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It makes sense.
but Padres first.
Padres first.
Yeah.
You've kind of reached like a reasonable state of fandom where you recognize that you can cheer for the Dodgers because of Dad, and you've got friends with the Giants. So you're more reasonable in your fanaticism.
Yeah. And plus, I don't have. The players switch teams so often now.
Yeah.
And being a touring musician, I always say they don't root for me when I'm playing a certain gig. They don't even know. And now I've become good friends with Barry Zito, and he's so nice, plays guitar and stuff. So it's made me more of a fan of the game overall. For instance, tonight I'm going to go see the Padres play. Of course, I always want the Padres to win. However, R.A. Dickey's pitching. Your suggestion was great. R.A. Dickey pitches a no-hitter through 8, but then he's somehow gets hurt, not hurt bad, but has to come out of the game. His pitch count's high, and then they give up a solo home run, and we pitch a no-hitter, and we win 1-0, would be my ultimate.
It was a 0-0 game, so R.A. Dickey needed a pinch hitter, and they lifted him. Because technically...
Thank you.
Technically, the Mets are kind of still in the running, so
yeah,
they pulled him for a pinch hitter, and Will Venable hits a bomb off of
yes.
the reliever. There you go.
I like that.
I just ruined the whole narrative.
There you go. You know, we don't even need to go to the game now.
Yeah.
It's all set in stone.
I like that. But yeah, so I'm a baseball fan. I love it. I love the game. Grew up watching it, and never was good at playing it. Never.
So you've been to a lot of ballparks, and you've even done the national anthem at a lot of ballparks.
Yeah, I just did it recently on Memorial Day at the Giants game at AT&T Park. I did it this year at the Padres game. Did it at hockey games. I've sang it a lot of places. I always do it with my acoustic guitar. I'll do it in the key of A, because when you do the anthem, Bochy gave me the best advice that I still use to this day. He said, Poltz, when you do it fast. The coaches and managers hate standing there and somebody takes a long time. So I did it recently on Memorial Day, and I get up there at the ballpark, and I do this little riff that goes dun 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 dun. And this representative was there at the Giants game from the Air Force, and he said, I need to time you to see how long it's going to take you to do it, because we're going to have these planes fly over, these F-16s or something. When you say, for the land of the free and the home of the brave, these planes are going to fly over. So I did it, and he goes, do it again. And he made me do it 3 times, and he goes, wow, I've never seen anybody do this. You did it exactly 1 minute and 22 seconds each time. And he goes, you're like Rain Man. So then he goes, listen, you might have to extend it if the planes aren't there. And I go, what do you mean extend it? You guys are the Air Force. You guys bomb people. How could they be late? And so he goes, you might need to extend it. And I said, all right. So sure enough, the planes weren't there, so I had to extend it. And it took forever. No planes were there. I finally broke into Stairway to Heaven, and then the planes flew over. And I was like, I got CDs available. Go Padres. All the Giants fans booed me. They were playing the Diamondbacks that day. Zito pitched, so they won. It was cool. And Zito, it was kind of cool because Zito studied with RJ. RJ was Zito's mentor. Yeah. You know, both left-handers throwing slow, loping curveballs.
Yeah. Almost comes full circle here. Just met with RJ. Now we're here with Steve.
Yeah.
Talking about Zito.
So yeah, I did the national anthem. It was cool, and it's been cool. I've been to a lot of the ballparks. I'm missing now the new Yankee Stadium, the new Citi Field. I had been to Shea and to Yankee Stadium many times. You know what I keep missing that I really want to go to is Kansas City. I'm always in Kansas City playing, and they're always out of town, or it's the off season. And I've never been to Kauffman, and I want to go so bad. I've driven by it so many times on the freeway, I can't even tell you. I've been to Arizona, I've been to Safeco, obviously San Francisco, been to the Angels. I hate the Angels. I don't hate a lot of teams. I can't stand the Angels. I hate the American League so much. I hate the Yankees, hate the Angels, don't like the Red Sox. I don't like the American League. It's like, who needs to see a game where the score is 16-9? I just don't like it. It's like automatic pilot. Yeah. You know? I want the pitcher to hit. I just like it better, and I'm not some old school apologist or something. I just think it makes the game better.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then the pitcher can't, if he comes up to bat and he's throwing at somebody else's head the last inning or something like that, they can go back after him.
Yes.
You know? He's not as confident on the mound if he's like, I'm going to have to bat, so they're probably going to get me in this next at bat.
You're a big fan of accountability.
I am.
I like that.
And
accountability.
Accountability. See, I just, you know what? If it was if it was no DH for both leagues, then I could live with that. But now I'm starting to come around kind of to the DH because we have certain guys in the Padres farm system who can't play the field.
Don't have a position.
I was trying to nuance that. They can't play the field, and their best position would be to not even go on the field, to hit and run the bases. So I'm kind of coming around to the DH, but your argument's valid.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't like the Angels. I want to say that several more times. Something about them bores me. I've been to Dodger Stadium many times.
What do you think of that stadium?
It's classic. It's classic. It's old school. Chavez Ravine. You know, they ripped off the people to build it. They lied to everybody. There's some crazy history there about it. It'll be Dodger Stadium for a long time. Everybody arrives late, leaves early. I have no love for it now. I've seen the Astros play. You know what the team I like in the American League is Tampa Bay. I'll always like them.
Yeah.
I think the Rays are the American League mirrors of what the Padres are trying to do.
Padres, mark my words, 2 years from now, the Padres, that's going to be their year. Not next year. Next year, they'll still be rebuilding. 2 years from now, we're going to the playoffs. I know it. Next year, I don't see it happening. We'll still be rebuilding. These younger guys we have coming up, in 2 years, I'm saying it right here, I'm not going to say we'll be in the World Series, but we will be in the NLDS and the NLCS. And maybe we will go into the World Series. I got so excited I almost broke glass. Maybe we will get into the World Series. I don't want to be Joe Namath and guarantee a win and all that, you know, like he did with the Jets in football. But I will say this, we will be a contender.
I like prediction.
It was a prediction. And I will be held, you can hold me accountable to that, since accountability is the theme. Hemingway talks about accountability in many of his novels. Let's make accountability our theme.
Sounds good.
And we like infusing literary references.
Yeah, why not?
Should be here.
One of the best books I ever read about baseball, religion, and war, and family, like I'm talking big themes, was a book by a guy named David James Duncan called The Brothers K. He studied Russian literature, so it was sort of an homage to the Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. And it's a big, sweeping, epic story. That's the best book I ever read, about a guy, a dad who was a pitcher, and then his sons play baseball. One of them goes off to Vietnam War. They're Seventh-day Adventists, so they talk about religion, and they talk about Vietnam War and family. And it's a sweeping, epic novel that goes over a couple decades. Oh, I gotta reread it.
I have to read it.
I have to read it too.
You will thank me, and in fact, we should meet up again on this podcast maybe in 6 months, and I'll reread it and discuss it. Okay. Maybe some of the listeners to your podcast would like to read it.
It's a date. So what's today? We're August 3rd.
Yeah.
August 3rd.
So we're looking. Let's make a date. December 3rd.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the off season. We're not watching baseball games. Let's read.
All right.
And then we'll talk about what we read.
Let's eat our mac and cheese while we're doing this. And keep talking. We're at the Starlite. I'm one of the owners of this joint. Look at this mac and cheese.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
So Steve, you have a new album coming out, or already out.
Yes.
You just got off the tour right now. You're probably going to be going again soon, though.
Yes.
Co-owner of this wonderful place. Tell me a little about what you got going on here.
This place is amazing. Look at, she's bringing out like one of the most beautiful burgers. He's going to eat that.
My burger here.
So I'm
now.
one of the owners of this place. This used to be a lesbian bar called 6 Degrees, and it's been in this location for years. It was 6 Degrees, and it was Club Bombay as well. And we have really good food here. I mean, look at that burger, mac and cheese, good beers, sausage plate with homemade sausage. I got this for you to try. You're probably a vegetarian, but no, you're not. Oh, you want to try this? Okay, good. I got a new record out, And I asked the promoter, when was the first time I went to Australia? And he said, oh, I reckon it was about 1999. So I named my record 1999. Noineen, Noiny, Noin. The way it sounds.
I love it.
And that's my new record. And I'm leaving to go to Colorado. Oh, I've been to that ballpark. I've been to the old Twins ballpark. I've been to the old Tiger Stadium and the new one. ADD guy. But anyways, so I'm leaving to go back out on the road again. I'm going to my homeland of Canada, where I was born. And I'm going to St. John's, Newfoundland, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Toronto, playing a music festival and doing all kinds of stuff.
I didn't want to interrupt you on your ballpark rant. Or not rant, but...
Here, I want you to eat all of this. Yeah, seriously, I got it for you.
Your ballpark recitation, but you've named all of the old parks that are closed down. So you said, like, you haven't been to New Yankee Stadium, you haven't been to Citi Field, but that's okay because they're not going anywhere.
No. I used to go to the old Tiger Stadium with my uncle who lived in Canada, and we would drive across the border, and he would buy obstructed view seats. It was the old stadium that had the girders in the way.
Yeah.
And they would say, all that's available is obstructed view seats. And we would sit there, and I'd have to look around to see the shortstop. And his name's Uncle Wally. He's now passed away, but I'd be like, what's going on, Uncle Wally? I can't see. And I'll have to look around. And he was the one who taught me about Ernie Harwell, the voice of the Tigers, who passed away. I've been to Toronto, slept in the outfield hotel, right at center field in the Sky Dome.
Had you been to, was it Exhibition Stadium?
Montreal?
Well, no. What was the Blue Jays park prior to...
No, I never got to go there.
What was that called?
I can't remember. And I never got to see the Expos play. I'm so bummed. I did when they came here, but never in Montreal. I have two really fond memories of being a Padres fan. One is being at Jack Murphy Stadium and Tony Gwynn coming up to bat, as he did many times, with runners on second and third, 2 outs, and the place, I got goosebumps right now talking about, you just knew something good was going to happen, and him hitting it into that gap between left and center, somewhere where it goes against the wall, and you're just like, and you're jumping up and down. I really have goosebumps right now. He would hit that sign that said the Gap, when they used to have it right in the Gap for the Gap store, and me going nuts. Like nuts. That feeling of just going, how can he keep doing it? And the other feeling of when Trevor Hoffman was at his height of his powers and they would play Hell's Bells. And we would be jumping. And I got to sing the national anthem at the ballpark at Qualcomm in 1998 when they beat the Braves to go into the World Series. I got to do the anthem at that game.
Wow.
And Wally Joyner used to use my song when he came up to bat, a song called Silver Lining. And those are just such big moments to me, was Trevor coming in that place rocking. Another cool moment was that year getting to hang out with Kem Caminetti, rest in peace. He drove by where I lived at Windansea, and he recognized me because I'd gotten to know him a little bit. And he was like, Poltzy. And he turned off his motorcycle and came and sat with me while the sun was setting. And everybody just freaking out because they knew who he was, and he was such a stud. That is another really fond memory I have. And singing on stage with Tim Flannery. Kevin Brown that season, the amazing season, destroying a wall, just being like nobody even wanting to sit by him or talk to him the day he pitched. You know?
That guy, you know, Kevin Brown is the reason that there is a ballpark downtown
Thank you.
that you're going to.
Yes.
Is as difficult as it was to see him go to Los Angeles the year after that.
I know.
There's a ballpark down there because of him.
You know who hit the ground ball that went through Leon Durham's legs?
Did Flan?
Flan.
Yeah.
He played a show with me in Chicago, and he was on stage one night, and there was a bunch of Cubbies fans. He goes, I hate to break the news to you, but in '84, I was the guy that hit the ground ball that went through Leon Durham's legs. And people were going, boo! It was great. He was laughing so hard.
I was in 1989, his last game, Flan Appreciation Night, where they gave away those little balls. I was actually at that. That was the batting. It's title battle between Will Clark
And Tony Gwynn.
Who edged him out. But I have that pin. Still have it in that game. That's pretty cool.
So, my buddy Bo, who's a normal co-host on this show, he's on tour right now, but he's friends with your tour manager, Chris. So he wanted me to ask you, what is it like to be on tour with such a huge Cardinals fan?
It's crazy. Because I really don't like the Cardinals. Because they always beat us.
Always.
In all those playoff years. And I don't like them, but Tony La Russa once had me play a show with Bonnie Raitt and Jackson Brown. And he was so paranoid about me opening the show because he didn't know me, but Flan was on it. Flan told him I would be good for it. Tony La Russa was like such a micromanager. He must have called me 10 times. Now, what's your song going to be like? I need it to be good. I heard you're good, but is it going to be fast? Can you hold the crowd's attention? It was in this nice theater. And I remember I did a song I have about being a wrestling guy who didn't make the basketball team. It's called 98 Pounder. And Bill Russell was sitting in the first row of the Celtics. And he was laughing so hard. And afterwards, Tony La Russa came up and goes, "You're my leadoff hitter. You did a good job." And it was really cool. But it was for his Animal Relief Foundation. So, being on the road with a huge Cardinals fan, I went to the old ballpark and I've been to the new ballpark. And I've seen a lot of Cardinals games. I've been to the old stadium as well where the Reds played and their new one. Been to them both. But being with a Cardinals fan, it's all right. He's not obnoxious. He knows the game. I don't like fans that don't really deserve to be a fan and brag and don't understand. They just jump on the bandwagon really quick. Those kind of fans are obnoxious, that trash talk. Because it'll always come back to you. Baseball has a way of making you honest.
Yep.
No matter what, keep your mouth shut. Learn to be a good fan. I don't like obnoxious fans.
The best experience that I've ever had with fans is with Cardinals fans at Petco. Like they'll sit there and they'll get really interested and they'll start talking with you about baseball. They won't try
They're
to
good
talk to you at all.
fans.
They're good fans.
Yeah.
They really are. And so, my tour manager, Chris Moto, is a good fan. So, I have to give him that.
Yeah.
He really is, and he knows the game really well. One of the other... Were you going to ask a question?
I was going to ask you.
Go for it.
I was going to say, out of all the ballparks you've been to, outside of San Diego, if you were going to recommend one for people to go to, where would you say, hey, you got to go check this park out?
That's a great question. Nothing has ever compared to walking off the street into Fenway. Even though I was just trash talking the American League, nothing has ever compared to the goosebumps I got when I walked in and saw the Green Monster for the first time. I am coming off the street and feeling all the energy outside of the fans. I only wish San Diego had fans like that. Even in San Francisco, they have every game sells out. You know, their fans are crazy. Flannery calls them the mob. Also Wrigley.
Yeah.
God, I love that ballpark. I still go there every year. Every year I go to that ballpark because I play Chicago all the time, and I make it a point to always go to a Cubbies game. So.
Recent developments with the Padres in terms of non-trades, extensions. What do you think is the answer? What do you think is the answer for the Padres?
Well, the answer number one was to get stability with ownership, which I think we're going to have. Number two, get your damn TV deal back in place so that everybody in San Diego can enjoy the games on TV. So that's two things. Number three, with the stability of the ownership, maybe that will lure and entice players that see some sort of continuity happening. I mean, everybody always talks about the San Diego discount and all that. But it's like, I'm tired of that. I want to have some money here, but I know money can't just buy you a team, obviously, which the Yankees, you know, they buy a team every year, but they can't always win it. There's still that it factor, that magic that comes in. I want to see us behave like the Tampa Bay Rays and really put together a team that's not all based on Moneyball. You know, Moneyball and the A's and all that, I feel like there was a downside to it, that it took away a lot of the heart and it became too much of a statistics game. People didn't care about stealing bases anymore, and it was like a bloop and a bop and getting on base. I want to see them make the Padres sexy and a fun team to watch and an exciting team to watch.
I agree.
A team not afraid to throw inside, a team not afraid to steal some bases, and to play to the advantages that Petco Park gives us, which is the deep fences and it's hard to hit the ball out.
Oh, the voice of reason, Steve Poltz. What's more exciting? Seeing a ball shoot the right center gap, Petco Park, and a guy race for a triple, or a guy barely clearing the fence out left.
That's way more exciting seeing action. Bang bang plays at home.
The triples are fun. We need the 85. I don't want to say Cardinals, but I just said it. We need a Cardinals-esque team.
Whitey ball, man. They were amazing.
A meathead in the middle, our Jack Clark would be Carlos Quentin, who will never get injured again.
Never, ever.
And he's exciting because
exciting.
every time he comes up, that ball could go out.
Yeah, definitely.
You have a chance every time he's up of that ball going out.
My name is Roy Purdy. I'm the general manager for Starlite. We do specialty cocktails. We have a lot of local beers on brew. Our kitchen really focuses on the locally grown food, so we get 90% of all of our produce comes from San Diego County. So we really support the local farms, and because of that, because of buying local, our seasons change. So as the seasons change, our menu changes quite a bit. So you always see a lot of familiar things, but the setups are going to be changing about every month and a half for everybody. We carry draft beers. We have Omegang, we have Stone, Trumer Pills, all kinds of different. Our specialty beers on our bottles. We have Pepinero from Goose Island, all the Chimay you could want, and quite a few other brewers. We have a lot of Germans, Pinkus, if anybody's into those. We've got a few Pinkus on there, Thomas Browse, all kinds of good yummy stuff.
All right, Steve, you're warm. You're ready for rapid fire. Question number 1. Tonight is 80s night at the ballpark, which you are attending. In your opinion, what is the best Padres uniform?
84.
Brown or white?
Brown.
Question number 2. Ichiro Suzuki was dealt to the Yankees last week, prompting Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie to release a pop ode to the lifelong Mariner. When will you be writing a song for Tony Gwynn?
Soon, now that you've just put it in my brain. Change my uniform to 82.
You changed it to 82.
Yes.
And the song for Tony Gwynn will be written.
I need to, yes.
Okay. Question number 3. In 1996, you and Jewel penned the following verse. I got my eggs, I got my pancakes too. I got my maple syrup, everything but you. I break the yolks, make a smiley face. I kind of like it in my brand new place. Who's more responsible for these Breakfast Town lyrics? Jewel Kilcher or Steve Poltz?
Well, I wanted to say I stabbed the yolks with my goddamn fork. I can't believe you're taking me to court. I wanted it to be about a couple that was like splitting up, but the one guy didn't want to admit it, and he goes back and stalks the girl and wants to kill her. Like, I wanted it to be a really dark song. She was like, we're not saying that. And she said, I break the yolks and make a smiley face. And I was like, I can't say that. I'll get my ass kicked. Then you're singing this song. So thank God she forced me to do that, because that was like the song that paid for me to be an owner in this place.
That is so far better an answer than I expected.
It contributed to Breakfast Town, though.
So is it fair to say that both of you are fans of Breakfast Town, but that you're just more violent?
I'm a violent Breakfast Town attendee.
I like that fucking answer. Question number 4. Padres and Pints viewers find themselves in Halifax, Nova Scotia. What should they order for breakfast?
Oh, wow. I think Halifax is lacking in the breakfast department, to be honest with you. San Diego's got the best. We're more of a breakfast town. I would say get some poutine.
Which is
French fries with gravy and curds.
money.
It's a Canadian thing.
Question number 5. You are offered a Padres and Pints t-shirt to wear on October 13th at your show in Glasgow, Scotland, and again on November 3rd at Mission Brewery. Do you accept this free 100% cotton pre-strung t-shirt and wear it at the aforementioned shows?
Yes. Where am I playing?
I didn't write down the name of the place, but on October 13th, you're in Glasgow. You have 2 shows in Glasgow. One's on the 12th and one's on the 13th.
Oh, cool.
My wedding anniversary is on the 13th. Could you give me a shout out?
Totally.
I won't be there.
I'll be in Glasgow. That'll be cool. I'm gonna try heroin there, just to be like train spotting.
Train spotting.
Get my Danny Boyle fix on.
Dive into a toilet. That'd be
If I
sweet.
try heroin once, can I get hooked, or is it cool to do it once? As long
I don't
as
know.
don't shoot it.
I think you're in danger of getting hooked if you even try it once.
Okay, then I won't.
It's not like an IPA from San Diego.
Let's try it
don't-
tonight. All of us.
Before the Padres game?
Before the Padres. Oh, check out those uniforms.
Add another
I
word.
am
Padres
tripping.
and pints and snack. Padres, pints, and needles.
So we're gonna have to get those T-shirts made because then we can go international. Steve
I
already
take a
agreed.
medium.
International.
Yeah. And this is a binding contract of sorts.
I
isn't
only
it?
like American Apparel the way they fit, medium. Then I'll wear the crap out of it.
American Apparel. Can we make that happen?
Make it
Merch,
happen.
Merch Lackey makes all my merch. He's really cool. He was in Rocket from the Crypt, Pete, here in San Diego. He does all my merch. If you want to get shirts printed, go to Pete at Merch Lackey.
And just say we know Steve.
Oh yeah,
Steve's gonna wear these while he's in Glasgow.
totally.
There we go. Pretty simple. This has been episode, we'll call it X, of Padres and Pints at the Starlite with Steve Poltz. Signing off on 80s night.
These night.
Thank you.
Love, peace, and hair grease.
All right.
There sets the sun on the Adriatic Sea.
That macaroni and cheese is really good.
So good, eh?
Oh, but just say that again.
It's so good, eh?
There you go.